Well, let's take you live now to Boksburg, the Birchwood Hotel to be exact, where the ANC's NGC is underway for a third night. SABC News reporter Natasha Piri, part of our team that's on the ground there. Natasha, so bring us up to speed with where we are as far as the program for the NGC, because we're expecting another long night ahead, possibly.
Well, definitely, Tembegile, a long night indeed, and of course, then tomorrow what we will see are the various chairpersons of the subcommittees coming back to members of the media and briefing us about the outcomes of those discussions and deliberations around the ANC's NGC documents, from issues like, in that insert, the integrity of the ANC, renewal, the balance of forces, so many other things. Just that these 2,000 delegates have been deliberating upon. But of course, Tembegile, we've been bringing you various vantage points and inputs from various ANC leaders, and I'm joined right now by the deputy chair of the SACP in Limpopo, who is also the premier of Limpopo, and this is none other than Dr. Popi Ramutuba. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. I think let me start with that, your introduction, the deputy chair of the SACP in Limpopo, and now coming out of this briefing of the ANC Secretary General, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, saying that, listen, the SACP has now decided they will contest the elections alone. They need to discuss the modalities around this, but now he says ANC members need to choose whether they're going to be voting for the ANC or the SACP. You're caught up between a rock and a hard place. The way forward?
Equally, the Provincial Executive Committee member and the Provincial Working Committee member of the African National Congress, who serve the ANC from a branch level, as a branch deputy chairperson of the ANC, as a regional executive committee and the regional working committee in Waterberg, until PEC members since 2014. Yes, I've been a member of the Communist Party. I've served in the Young Communist League from a PEC level up until now where I am today. So, but I must indicate to you that, of course, it's a sad moment. I wouldn't say, but for some of us, socialism is a character. It's something that is within me. And if you follow us, you will realize that the work that we do currently, having been given an opportunity to serve and lead the ANC-led government at a provincial level, implementing policies that will be biased to the working class, everything that you do addressing the constituency, because we can't shy away from the fact that we've always said the ANC will lead this alliance towards a national democratic revolution. From there, the SACP will take us to the socialism. We have not yet reached the NDR. We are still on the way. And I think I'm on the right path. And I think the ANC has given me an opportunity to show that a character that we can be able to implement this policy where we are. Yes, it's a sad story, but if you remember that in our province, and I'm sure you have heard, if you have listened to the provincial secretary of the ANC when he was speaking on behalf of our province, to say we've been having by-elections in our province, and unfortunately our province was targeted wherein the SACP has been contesting, but we've been working well because some of us are the face of the ANC-led government, and we think where we are implementing what a socialist must do towards the NDR.
Is it too late to persuade the SACP otherwise? I was speaking to ANC veterans yesterday, Mr. Jeff Radebe, Amos Masondo, and they say they'll still continue engaging with the SACP. I know more bilaterals are set to take place. Is it too late?
The biggest challenge here is that this is a conference resolution which was taken by the branches of the SACP. The complexity of the matter is that there's no any other structure. It can't be a central committee or office bearers of the Communist Party changing a resolution that was taken by the branches of the Communist Party. Hence, you heard in the letter that the national chair of the Communist Party, Comrade Blaine Zimande, wrote to say probably we need a special national conference to look into this matter. Of course, it's a sad day for some of us, but we are allowing the space, and at the right time, we will be able to pronounce ourselves guided by this movement. But what you need to know is that we've been honored by the African National Congress-led government, which I belong to the ANC in my own personal capacity, and I've been a member of the ANC throughout. I've been honored and given an opportunity to really show that indeed we can deliver the NDR. And that's what we are doing currently.
And let's talk about the discussions that have been taking place inside. I mean, according to our sources, there are some ANC delegates that have said, listen, maybe perhaps it's time to cut the umbilical cord between the ANC and the SACP. If the SACP wants to go, let them go. But also the SACP cannot sit with us. We can't share our election strategy with the SACP if they plan on contesting us.
Of course, that argument really makes sense to say, how do you discuss the strategy together, but then you go and contest. So from our province, what we have done was to say, when it comes to election work, because the Communist Party is contesting, the ANC will not meet in our provincial election task team with the Communist Party. The ANC will run its own campaigns together with COSATU and SANCO, and the SACP also did the same. As I'm saying, it's a very sad moment for some of us. It really pains us. And as to the question of saying, is it time to cut the umbilical cord? It is. I still repeat, it's very sad because we have not yet arrived at the NDR. Therefore, it's prematurely what is currently happening.
And Dr. Poppy, before I bring in Mzandile Masina into the fray, just one last question. The ANC Provincial Conference in Limpopo, I mean, just speaking to some delegates from Limpopo, some have said, listen, it's time to get one center of power. Poppy Ramathuba must also become the ANC chair. How do you respond to that?
I think, let me say, the ANC has got its own faces. Last time when you asked me this question, I was busy in the phase we were doing, it was on the roll call. The process had not yet opened. But what we can tell you now is that the NEC has taken a resolution that all PECs which are ready, they must go to conference before end of March. And roadmap have been adopted, and we are now busy with the membership. And come January, when the branches go in, the branches are going to talk. And of course, if the branch says they've got confidence in me, I can't say no, because even for me to be here where I am, branches says, we want you to be serving in all these terms as a PC and PWC member. It's because the branches of the ANC had confidence in me to do that. So I'll wait for that moment.
Okay, and we'll follow up with you on that moment. And let me just please bring in Mzandile Masina. Thank you so much for your time, Poppy. Mzandile Masina is an ANC NEC member. He's also the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Trade, Industry and Competition. I hope I am right. And as we just zoom in on the various discussions that have been taking place behind closed doors, I'm just interested in getting your perspectives, your contributions of the discussions inside.
Well, we have a number of discussions. I participated in the Commission on Local Government, where we have made quite a number of proposals, which I hope that the plenary will adopt some of them, including, for instance, there is a white paper that is on a draft form that is looking into quite a number of issues, including issues of coalition government, how they could be better regulated so that we ensure stability across. Secondly, there has been a vacuum with regard to how we relate, how local government relates with traditional leadership. So we now have come up with proposals in terms of how we can ensure that local government councillors, they work with the traditional leadership institutions and we give them necessary support. But also the issue of professionalizing local government has come in very strongly in terms of ensuring that there are no political interference. We hire people who are capable to do certain work in local government. The other critical issue is around equitable share rethink. We are beginning to think that this notion that all municipalities can relatively raise finances through levies and municipal bills, it's not sustainable. So we have to rethink, because only 9% of the fiscus come from national. So we're rethinking that question so that we can see what we can do. And fourthly, around issues of just this thing of corruption is endemic in local government. So we really have tightened issues of consequence management so that those that are suspect, as you see in the party, for instance, if there are issues, if you are facing the law, you go and step aside. But in government, we've not really tightened things around. So we want to make sure that we tighten that area so that where the suspicions of malfeasance, corruption, and things like those who are able to act at the level of government.
And before we actually delve into the issue of corruption in local governments, I just want to get your perspective. You mentioned something quite interesting. We just came out of regional conferences of the ANC. We heard here when just fielding questions to the ANC Secretary General of the two centers of power in Johannesburg, the Johannesburg region. Some, have been saying perhaps it's time for Loyiso Masuku to actually be the mayor, and the ANC Secretary General responding that her being the ANC chairperson does not constitute her being the mayor of the city of Johannesburg.
Look, the center of power is the ANC, so it's not individuals. Comrade Loyiso has been elected duly by the conference. He's now the chairperson of the African National Congress in Johannesburg. He has all the rights after due processes, as you know, that the ANC has said that in February next year, we are going to be unveiling our mayoral candidate across, especially the metros as well as secondary cities. So let's wait for that process and see what gets to happen. For now, Comrade Dadam Murero is a mayor of the African National Congress. He is here fully participating as a member. Comrade Loyiso is also here fully participating. I don't think that at this point, because there is no rule in the ANC constitution that if you are the chair, you automatically are the mayor. You have to undergo a process. Whereas the president of the ANC is prescribed in our constitution that once you become the president of the ANC and we win the election, you'll automatically become the candidate and probably the president of the ANC. So there's that's the question.
Is the ANC lacking in consequence management and holding your officials to account? You've introduced, the ANC NEC has now introduced a local government barometer to assess the various municipalities and your officials already. Were there talks about that, failing municipalities? If a person does not perform, and perhaps you've identified those individuals, and the question is, why are you not cracking the whip on your officials and poor performing municipalities?
Look, the ANC is going to act decisively. Just in our committee recently, the LGI, we've taken a decision and made effected changes through the ANC structures in 7 municipalities in the Free State, and on the daily basis we are assessing these local government troikas and other deployed cadres to see where there are weaknesses. Where we believe that recommendation must be made to the officials and the NWC, we are not shy to do that because we are very serious about, and we've seen that our people have been raising some of the fundamental issues, but because of the dynamics, we've not been acting enough. But now I think we've got all what it takes to make sure that the African National Congress act decisively to make sure that the ANC win back power and continue to serving the people of South Africa.
And just lastly, on the issue of not acting enough, you also serve as an ANC parliamentarian. You go through your documents, and there's the issue of oversight. ANC caucus members and the issue of oversight. Are you effective in your work, especially when it comes to oversight? You look at the Zondo Commission, which was quite glaring on that very issue when it came to ANC members in Parliament.
Look, we're doing our best. The ANC has lost a significant majority. We are only 159. So each and every committee, we're about 11, of which 4 of those members are from the African National Congress. So far, I can say that we've really held the fort very well, and we've continued to advance the National Democratic Revolution through decisions that are favorable to transformation, and we've resisted any attempt, even from those from the GNU, who have attempted to take us back and reverse some of the gains we've made in terms of transformation. So I can safely say that we've performed our oversight and will continue to do so, so that the ANC is strengthened in Parliament, in the legislatures, as well as in local government.
Mr. Masina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Of course, we've heard the ANC NEC member, Mr. Mzandile Masina, is also the ANC chair in Parliament of Trade, Industry and Competition, just talking to a number of issues, his contributions here within the ANC discussion documents, issues around local government, of course, ANC caucus members and oversight. And earlier on, we spoke to Dr. Popi Ramathuba, who also serves in the ANC PC in Limpopo. She's the premier, yes, but she's also the deputy chair of the SACP, in the province, which somewhat leaves her between a rock and a hard place. She is in a quagmire, given, the SACP's decision to go it alone at the elections. And this is one of the hot topics that are actually being discussed discussed behind closed doors, where some delegates have said, listen, perhaps it's just time to cut ties with the SACP if they decide to go it alone because of their decision, I beg your pardon, to go it alone at the polls. So these are just various views that we're bringing you and various inputs from various delegates that are here. With that said, it's back to you in studio, Tembegile.
Natasha, thank you very much for that. SABC News reporter Natasha Piri at the ANC's NGC underway at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg. We'll go back there later this evening.